So welcome along, everybody. This is Trade Heroes' inaugural Business Owners Club for business owners. And what we're going to try and do is give you some ideas about some of the challenges that are facing all business owners and some of the solutions that you can have to deal with those challenges. There's obviously lots of headwinds that are in front of all of us in business here with, it's been accelerated by COVID. COVID's one of the things that's sped things up that were going to happen are now happening. One of the things that's happened now is that all the Australians that were overseas have now all come back. So now we don't have enough houses for anybody. And that's causing massive shortages through rents, through housing, through now we've got jobs. And even though we've got all these people coming back to Australia, we've got the other thing with employment, which is there's not enough employees. Consequently, employee wages are going up through the roof. So expanding your business is now becoming a bit of a challenge, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, is how to expand your business and some options that you can use to expand them. Are you still awake?
I'm still awake.
Okay. Beth threatened me tonight that if I'm not good enough, she'll fall asleep. And I said, I'll see your eyes closed. She says, no, I'm married, so I'll be able to hold my eyes open and still be asleep. And I'll look interested. So the first thing I'd like to, where's the Galvin's guys? 1, 2. So there's 2 Galvin's guys here. They're the sponsors of tonight's event, so thank you guys, thank you very much. If you've got any questions about plumbing or anything to do with Galvin's, go and see these 2 guys down here. Make yourself known to them. There is a special deal that's going to come up through the end of the presentation as well. Oh, that's me. So we plan on running these things roughly every month. Is that right, Danielle? Okay. And what we're going to do tonight is this is the first bit of maths that you have to do. It's really simple stuff. You don't need a PhD, you don't need a degree, you don't need anything. It's just going to give you some ideas about growing your business. So what this model here is a thing called organic growth. So you've got your business, whether it's be tiling, plumbing, electrical, doesn't matter what your business is, it's the same for every business. Most businesses want to grow, and this is the way to do it. So we start off, and down on the right-hand side, you start with your sales, you've got your cost of goods that come out of that, gives you a gross profit. I've been a business coach for 25 years. I've been a commercial bank manager with Westpac. I was a management accountant at BHP. Dare I say I was a partner in an accounting practice, and there's my partner over there, business partner. And
Sure.
I was waiting for that one.
It's very bashful of that.
And yeah, and he just, and this is about the most complex stuff that I can do in accounting. So if you want a proper accountant, for God's sake, go and see Grant. I just know the simple stuff about growing businesses. So when somebody talks to you about sales, sales is bullshit. It's not about your sales. The most important thing in your life is net profit. How much do you put in the pocket? You're in business to make money, to put it in your pocket, and then have a happy life. That's what business should be about. You are not the business is the business, you own the business. And your job is to make that business work for you, not you work for the business. So we're going to go through some ideas about how you grow a business. And this model here is called organic growth, and the numbers are really simple. So we start out with cost of goods. So you can see the cost of goods in this example here is 500 grand. So we start with $500,000 of cost of goods. Now you can put that down. If it was a plumber or an electrician, you've got materials and labour. So those are the things that go up into your cost of goods. That's the only 2 numbers you need to worry about on a weekly basis. And are you selling them at a good enough profit? So in this example here, whatever those labour and materials add up to is 500 grand. So we double it, 100% markup, gives us our sales of $1 million. So $500,000 GP minus our expenses. In this case, accounting, insurance, leases, rent, subscription, all that sort of stuff coming out, equals 350 grand. And the owner's salary is $100,000 down the bottom there. That leaves him with $450,000 expenses, $50,000 in his pocket. So all this guy's taking out of $1 million is his salary, which he has to work for. Now, for you as business owners, what would you be getting paid if you were working at your level that you are now? If you were working for someone else as an employee, would you be getting 100 grand a year, 110, 120, 90, 80? What would it be? What's some examples? Audience participation. No, just running. If you were to work in another business at your level that you're doing now, what would you be getting paid? What would somebody pay you?
I think with the risk and responsibility, 120.
Yep, okay. So that 120 of whatever you'd have to pay to replace yourself, that's what you need to be taking out of your business. If your business isn't paying you that, why isn't it paying you that? Because you can employ someone to do your job. You need to be getting paid what you would be getting paid somewhere else. But that's not what you're in business for. You're in business for the net profit on top of that, because the risk of being in business is super bloody high. And you don't want to take all that onerous responsibility. And some businesses that Grant and I have come across over the years, they're working really, really hard and they're making bugger all out of it. And that's not what this game is about. You're here to make truckloads of money. And in this marketplace now, I can assure you that WA is booming. Absolutely bloody booming. So owner's salary plus 50 grand. Now what we're going to do is reinvest it. And I've got some clients in the room, so they're not allowed to answer this question, and neither is Grant. So you've heard the story that you're supposed to reinvest your money back into your business, haven't you? So I've got 50 grand. Where do I put it?
Home loan.
Sorry?
Home loan.
It's not on the list.
Red or black? Red or black?
What's that, Beth? Yeah, put it back into your business?
Yeah.
To grow the business. Where do you put it?
Into making profit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Assets, which expense.
Too long. Next. Where else?
I was listening.
You were! You were! I'm so proud of you! I'm so proud of you.
Get a golf dart for that.
You get a cuddle.
Oh.
She's good. So, where do I put that 50 grand? I've got to put it back into the business somewhere to make me money.
Oh, assets, something that's going to generate you income, whether it's retraining yourself or purchasing equipment to...
No.
No?
No.
Lead generation?
Who said that? No.
Good answer, but wrong.
But good answer, you're closest. Now, that would be classed under marketing, which goes in here. Marketing is under the heading of expenses. Expenses don't make you money. If we pay our accountant more money, he just says thank you.
Yeah, that's right. It's Bella.
It's a waste of time. If you pay more rent to the landlord, they just say thank you. That's not going to make you any more money. If you pay any money towards expenses, it's not going to grow your business. In this case here, there's two things that make you money under cost of goods sold. What are they? Materials and labour. Labour is where you spend your money. So if you take the $50,000 and you reinvest it, assuming all the ratios remain the same, you're going to end up putting that money, that 50,000 goes on, added onto the 550. So now the 500 grand made us $1 million. So if the numbers are still the same, and in this example here, I've made the expenses all the same across there, we're now going to have 1.1 million in the second year. That flows down to 100 grand. So you've doubled your money in just 1 year. Plus you still get your salary. Not flash, but it's a good start. So if this works now, why don't we do it again? So we do it again. We've now got $650,000 of cost of goods. And when it flows down through the numbers, it's going to give us $200,000 net profit. So you've doubled your net to 100 and doubled that 100 to 200. What do you think if everything remains the same and we reinvest it. Oh, one more to go. You've now got $400,000. So here comes one question for you. You guys, because I can only speak for the guys because I am one, my wife would be looking at that $50,000 and saying, trip to Bali would be really nice. That lounge suite, it's looking a bit tatty, we need a new lounge suite. And that car, got to get rid of that bloody car. It's crap. We need to have a new car. And one of the things, and this is for the gentleman in the room, this is a scientifically proven fact by me. Nothing fades my curtains faster than when my neighbour gets new curtains. For my wife, nothing fades our car faster than when my bloody brother-in-law gets a new car. And all of a sudden, I need to have a new car for some reason. That's just a personal thing. Now, what happens to my business if I take that $50,000 out, numbers-wise? Same. That's the problem. If you don't reinvest back into your business now, so this brings up the consideration, where should you be investing back into your business? Do you put the money back into accounting? Well, your accountant's going to say thank you. He might, he doesn't, but he might even send you a Christmas card. Yeah, that's the answer I got last year, no Christmas card. Accounting fees, insurance, these are all expenses, don't make you more money. You could put a receptionist on and pay them a pay rise, but that won't make you more money. It'll make the receptionist happy. Anything to do with expenses doesn't make you more money. You've got to put it into cost of goods. But if it's not there because you've spent it, you've got Groundhog Day. You go back and do it again and again and again and again, and you don't grow. Now, some of my clients that I come across, that's not good enough, and they want to go faster. So if you want to go fast, well, does anybody want to wait 4 years, or do you want to see if you can do it faster? Anybody interested? Okay. So what we're going to do is, for this business here, and we've got people around the room from tilers, plumbers, electricians, and all the different types of trades. There's probably a competitor of yours just down the road from you in the same suburb who does exactly what you do and has a turnover similar to what you do. Now, from my experience, and I bought and sold a few businesses for my clients and also for myself, probably around 20 over the last couple of years. And during this time, what we typically pay is 1 times net profit. So if this business is turning over a net of 50 grand a year, you pay 50 grand a year plus plant and equipment and stock at whatever the written down value is at cost. That's if you go and buy it virtually at sale price. So a couple of years. This is not the type of business you want to buy through a business broker, because a business broker is going to try and sell it for multiples of the net profit. If you want to go and use a business broker, that's fine. I don't recommend it. There's cheaper ways to do it. So in this next example here, this is organic growth at the top. This here is acquisition growth. So we're going to use the same numbers for us. So this is just us. And as I said, there's a competitor down the road. The competitor down the road is them. Now, this strategy here only works for a service-based business where clients do not come to you. So if you're like a doctor or a dentist where clients are going to them, or a retail shop where the clients are going to their shop, this does not work. This is for a service business where the tradesman or the service business goes and sees the client. So let's say your business, there's somebody else in the room, there's 2 electricians, or there's 2 plumbers, or there's 2 tilers, or there's 2 whatever, and they've got 2 separate locations, and you're looking at saying, I want to grow my business and expand my business, I want to get this growth faster. So if you start looking around for your competitors, you ask your trade suppliers, and the type of thing, now the type of thing that I do, because I'm a turd like this, is I'd go down and see my trade supplier and turn and say, look, I want to grow my business. I'm currently doing $1 million a year. I've been a great client of yours. I buy my stuff from you. I've been faithful to you, and I probably buy $200,000 or $400,000 a year from Galvin's. That makes sense? I want to grow my business. I want to buy one of my competitors. One of my competitors might work for you. Be a customer of yours. Do you have any customers? Now, obviously you guys won't, but do you have any customers that don't pay their bills? Why are you smiling? So, for me, and this will be the same for you, I'm good at what I do. Are you good at what you do? If you're a good technician, could you expand your business if you just had more clients? Well, I could go to them and say, I want to buy one of these people that can't pay their bills. They're a good tradie, but they're not a good business manager. I want to buy that type of business. Would you be able to introduce me if you think it's appropriate? Because that way I can take my $1 million turnover and I can double it. I can take my $400,000 spend that I'm spending with you and double it. No, that's all right. We'll wait.
She's doing the same thing.
So I want to buy a business, double the expenses, so I'm going to double my spend with you. That should be attractive to you guys because I always pay my bills on time. So now I can find out where one of my competitors might be wanting to sell their business. And I'll leave it up to them to go to them and say, look, you haven't paid your account for the last 3 months. You owe us a ton of money. Do you want to come and have a conversation because we know somebody that might want to buy you? That's all they have to do. Then I get to introduce them and then we start talking. Now, my business premises that I've got, if I'm a plumber or an electrician, might be too small. And the person that I want to buy might have premises that are much bigger than mine. And I could easily expand into their business. So where the numbers come out like this, I've got $500,000 cost of goods and he's got $500,000 cost of goods. So naturally, if we add those together and operate out of one premises, I've now got turnovers of $1 million. Oh, sorry, and cost of goods. So my cost of goods is in that line there. My turnover's there. My turnover of 2 million minus my cost of goods of $1 million gives me a gross profit of $1 million. I've doubled my gross profit. But when you look at the expenses, I don't need 2 lots of rent. I don't need 2 lots of receptionists. I don't need 2 lots of accountants. I don't need 2 lots of subscriptions. I don't need 2 lots of salaries. Because if I buy the other business out, I don't need the other owner. So if I go and buy this business, let's say I buy it for $50,000, 1 year's net profit. Let's say he's got 100 grand's worth of stock. So I pay 150 grand for it. And I've now bought the business. So on Friday afternoon, I own my business. And at close of business, so Cameron, the lawyer in the room, how long does it take to do a settlement on a business?
I can do it in a day.
Okay, so between Friday night and Monday morning, it could transfer to me, buy his business?
We'd rather not work over the weekend, but yes, in theory.
I don't care, but that's... Sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Yeah. So I can buy a business, so I walk back on Monday morning, and now I've just got a business that's doubled its size overnight. But why would I do that? So when you start putting these numbers together, you can wait 4 years to do it. We go and merge it together. Now, you'll notice in the expenses, I have increased the expenses to this new business by 100 grand. So instead of 350, I've said there's going to be more expenses, say from 350 up to 450, but I'm not going to have the other expenses. So I get rid of those, and now I walk away with $400,000. Or I can wait 4 years. So in this marketplace, what you're looking at is there is opportunities out there for all of you. Have you heard of anyone going broke in the last 2 years? Through COVID, or they've had to do restructuring, or they've gone into trouble. So you look at this type of business, these are opportunities for you to go really aggressively if you want to double your size, or you may not buy one the same size as you. You may buy one that's half the size of you. But it's a way, if you want to get growth, this is one way of spending some good money and getting a good return. If you have the skill set to run a much bigger business, but you have to be able to run a bigger business. If you've been waiting 10 years to get it up to the column on the left, don't go out and double the size again because you won't know what you're doing. And if you are going to do this, please speak to a bloody accountant, speak to a lawyer, get yourself a professional team around you so you know what you're doing, because you know your trade. And so long as you're providing a quality service to your trade, you're fine. The management can be done by your external management team, as long as you're sitting down once a month and meeting with them. Now, this sort of thing doesn't happen by itself, so what I do, this is a blurry number. Now, if I grab your email addresses, I will email you all a copy of this, if that's okay, Danielle? Because this next spreadsheet that you've got coming up now, this is the thing that if you're going to be doing this by yourself, this is what you want a spreadsheet of. So this is a company, a set of companies in New South Wales. It's a kitchen manufacturing company in New South Wales. There is about 9 on that screen there. I wrote to 60 kitchen manufacturing companies over in New South Wales, in Newcastle, and basically the letter said, hi, I've got a client that wants to expand their business and buy a business in your neck of the woods, even though I was living here in Perth, and would you like to sell? Out of the 60 that I sent out, the letters I sent out, or emails, I got about 19 replies saying, how much do you want to pay me? I said, depends on the numbers. So send me some numbers, and of the 60, more than 10 sent me their numbers, and these are the real numbers, of which I'm looking through this. Now, for all of you, would all of you say that you're good tradies? Good business operators? You know your trade. Okay. Now, the management of the business, that's a different thing. But as a tradesman, do you know shit work from good work? If you know that, then you've got the chance to go and take over a bigger business and say, you're doing that wrong, that's not good enough, and you can improve the standard. So if that's the case, then this could be an opportunity for you to consider an acquisition. What I did was I got all these numbers, they sent me all their zero files, their mild files and all that sort of stuff. I just put them up on a spreadsheet, a simple spreadsheet. If you can't do it, speak to your accountant because he can do this thing, and this is a 10-second job, it's not a big job. And what I'm looking for is so no clients are allowed to answer this or grant. Am I looking for a good business or a bad business?
Looking for a business that you can build.
Yeah,
So it's not necessarily good, and it's not
correct.
necessarily bad.
The badder the better.
Badder the better.
The badder the better. So I want a business that's got loads of clients. So I could be paying marketing to get those clients, or I could be acquiring those clients so long as I can go back and sell them something else. Now, when you're in a service business, it's pretty easy to go back and sell them something else, generally. So what we're looking at here is finding the worst business that's there. Now, these were the raw numbers that I got from this client business, which we bought. So this was one of the ones that I actually bought into. And I wanted that word, the shittiest of the shitty. This is the one that I did, was G, the G column was the business. And when they sent me their rough numbers, they told me that they'd lost $143,000. In actual truth, they'd lost $250,000. And when I asked them, but you lost $250,000 for the last 2 years, they said, yeah, this is the 3rd year we've lost money. I said, but you lost $250,000 each year. They said, yes. I said, how did you survive? They said, well, we went back and asked Mum and Dad. I said, what? And they gave you $250,000 3 times? They said, yes. I said, well, why don't you go back and ask them again? And the wife said, we did. And they said no. So now we have to sell. And there's nothing better if you're buying than when somebody has to sell. And that's another part for you to consider with this thing here. So this is the simple strategy that I've used to acquire businesses. This is the reason why. Now, it's not for everybody. This is just a strategy. There are organic growth strategies, which some of my clients are in here have seen the results of organic growth and they're quite strong. John, your business was doing an amount of money when we first started. How much would it have increased by in the last 2 years?
That's a lot, Jeff. I think we worked it out, it was about 300%, wasn't it? Something like that.
Something like that. It's a little bit more, but that's fine. I'll take that. So this thing about what Trade Heroes is trying to do is it's trying to give you guys a different perspective just to see, should I do it this way or should I do it that way? The more information you have, the easier it's going to be for you guys to make decisions about where you grow and how you grow. Something I get asked, this is the last slide that really I'm going to push your mind at tonight before we have some more drinks, is add-on sales. For a plumber could add on sales by financing. So when you go and buy a car, you've heard somebody go into the car and turn and say, I'll buy this and I'll pay cash. The car yard doesn't want you to pay cash. The car yard makes more money selling a new car on finance than they do by selling you a car for cash. You could be doing the same thing. When you go down to Harvey Norman and buy a big screen TV, they will charge you finance and you'll be paying more for it. So this is another option for you to get finance for your business. You could sell on hot water systems. So when you go out to fix the taps or the broken pipes, you could do a check on their hot water system, see if they need a sacrificial anode replaced. Replace the flexive hoses on the pipes and all that sort of stuff. Electricians could put in extra power outlets, dimmer switches. So there's lots of ways to go out to see a client and upsell a client when you're there. But you don't do the job when you're there because in this marketplace you don't have time. But what you can do is you've now noted it down, you've filled in a checklist. If you want a copy of a checklist, give me a yellow, I can email you one. You fill in your checklist and you go back, put it into your database. Where's Samara? Samara's here. She will help you set up databases and she will then turn around and ring the client. He'll be free in 3 months' time to put in some more work. Can you ring up the clients and book this in to get the hot water system serviced? We need to make 150 calls. Can you do it? Somebody else is doing it for me. Now, I know I'm going to make money because I'm the one that they trusted to fix it. So by going out there looking at ways to on-sell additional services, you're putting more money into your pocket from the same clients. And you fit the work in when it suits you, when you have a slowing down in the marketplace and that sort of thing. Galvin's has got a special. Did you know you were going to get this? So, the special starters kit for plumbers when they're starting out, or for anybody when they're starting out, because you don't have to be just a plumber to buy stuff from Galvin's. And for this $500 thing, you get all of these. Oh, do you want me to give you that? Do you want it? But wait, there's more. And then you get all these tools in here for those that want to be starting tools. Now, can't finish this place off without saying thank you to Dan for being the host with the most. This is Dan from Tradie HQ. If anybody here is about to leave their home office location and need to find a location, please speak to Dan. Put your hand up again. Or the beer.
Thanks. I'll just add something quickly to the slide before about with Galvin. So if anyone does have an apprentice, what they're also eligible for is the CTF grant, which is $500. So your apprentice actually won't be out of pocket. So if they go to Galvin's, purchase that kit and then submit that paid invoice to CTF, Construction Training Fund, they'll get the money reimbursed. So it's win-win.
Well done. Okay. Now, for some of you are members of Trade Heroes and some of you are not. These are the member packages that are available. What a lot of people start on is that first one on the left, which is free, but you'll notice all the red boxes. You don't get bugger all. You get some, but not a lot. When you start paying, then you start getting it. And it costs as little as $20 a week plus GST. That's it. So, please hang around. I wanted to touch second last. Trade Heroes can also put one of these frig magnets out between each of you and your geographic area. There's nothing worse than you guys driving a truckload of distance to go to a job and then drive somewhere else to go to another job. You start putting your name onto these sort of magnets, they go into the fridge, and these are all geographically located close to where you live, because you want to be working close to where you live and not spending all your time in travel. Julian runs a business, and Julian, we had a catch up on Monday, and Julian told me how many kilometres he travels in a week, which is roughly how many?
1,000.
About 1,000. So for the mental magician in the room, Grant, 1,000 kilometres a week is what he's travelling. Let's assume that he does 100 kilometres an hour. How many hours driving would 1,000 kilometres?
Oof, the accountant smashes it.
I did warn him before.
I was going to say, what would you like it to be? That's probably my answer.
He can be creative.
No one can edit.
Sign here and tell me what you
Truth
think.
anyway.
Sign this disclaimer so I don't go to jail. Yeah. So the worst thing for you guys as tradies is driving time. Driving time is wasted time. You want to be working as close to your home as you possibly can. So speak to Danielle later about getting your name onto a geographically centralised thing. So if a client needs an electrician, they've got an electrician. If they need an air conditioning guy, they've got that. And it's all centrally located, and Danielle can map that out for you. Lastly, some headwinds. All of us are going to be facing headwinds in the next 24 months. Imports, if any of you rely on imports, imports are going to become slower. China is going off the boil, and it's going to become harder and harder and harder to get your supplies in. So speak to your suppliers regularly and early. Don't leave your ordering until the last minute, because they may not have stock. Outsourcing. Because the employment market here is so tight, outsourcing is going to be something that you need to do progressively yourself, more and more and more. Start with the administration services. That would be you, wouldn't it? So I've got several of my clients that use her services, and Samara's just bloody saved their life for what they do. John, did you experience any growth when you...
Just a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Julian, does she make your life easier? Okay, so outsource as much as you can, as quick as you can, but answering the phones. If you're ever stuck up on the roof, or stuck with your hands down the toilet, or stuck doing something and you can't get to your phone, get somebody else to answer your phone for you so you don't miss money. Manufacturing. Manufacturing is going to start returning to Australia. Manufacturing over in China and all that sort of stuff in foreign countries. It's not just the manufacturing in China that's going to be a problem, it's manufacturing in every country, because they can't get the supplies back to Australia. So a lot of people are going to start onshoring back in Australia, so you need to now start developing relationships with your suppliers so you get preferential treatment. Employees are going to be continuing to hard to get for the next 5 years, and I also own an employment agency. So I'm telling you now that employees are going to be hard to get for 5 years, so don't let them leave. If you've got staff, love them. Don't let somebody else love them. Don't let somebody else make it attractive for them to steal them away from you. Home prices are going to continue to go up. Contrary to what anybody's saying on the news, they might be dropping down a little bit in the eastern states, and when they talk about dropping down, they had a 30% price rise. We did not have that. So that and this is my disclaimer that it's my opinion only. This is the lawyer in the room, he's frowning. With the Sydney prices went skyrocket, and now they've dropped dramatically. They've dropped about 8%. Some would say 10%. Oh, how sad. They only had a 20% increase, not a 30%. WA has not suffered any of that. The rental marketplace is short of rentals, down to 0.3%, according to the REWA stats. So this is the economy. These are the headwinds that you're going to be facing. If I can help you, if Trade Heroes can help you, if Galvin's can help you, let us know. We'd love to help you out and give you some advice and guidance. And that's it. Don't forget the merchandising over the side there.
We have some cool new shirts, and we have competition over here which nobody
Right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be hanging around. If you've got any questions, please ask me, or speak to Grant, speak to Samara, speak to Cameron, and they will answer any questions you may have. Thank you.